Picture this. You finally get that promotion you've been grinding for, the one you told yourself would change everything. And for about 48 hours, it does. You feel on top of the world. But then Monday comes. You're back at your desk. And that electric feeling? Gone. Just gone. Or maybe you bought something expensive. The thing you saved up for. The thing you needed. And now it's sitting in your closet, gathering dust, just like everything else you thought would make you happy. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to admit. The harder you chase happiness, the faster it runs away from you. And today, I'm going to show you why everything you've been taught about happiness is a lie. Stick around. Because what I'm about to reveal will completely change how you see your life. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you thought, I'll be happy when I get that job. I'll be happy when I lose this weight. I'll be happy when I finally have enough money. We've all been there. And here's the sick joke. You probably achieved some of those things. Maybe you got the job. Maybe you lost the weight. And for a moment, just a fleeting, beautiful moment, you felt it. That rush, that high, that feeling of, I made it. But then what happened? The feeling evaporated. The excitement faded. And suddenly your brain was already whispering, okay, what's next? Welcome to the hedonic treadmill, and you've been running on it your entire life without even knowing it. Imagine you're running on a treadmill. You're sweating, you're grinding, you're putting in the work. But no matter how fast you run, you stay in the exact same spot. That's what chasing happiness feels like. You buy the new phone, the new car, the designer clothes. At first, pure ecstasy. But within weeks, sometimes days, it becomes ordinary. What was once thrilling becomes expected, and expected becomes, boring. Your brain literally resets, it adapts, and suddenly you're back to square one, scrolling online, looking for the next hit of dopamine. But here's where it gets darker. This isn't your fault. This is how your brain was designed. Our ancestors couldn't afford to stay satisfied. If they got comfortable, they got eaten. So evolution wired us to always want more, to never settle, to keep pushing forward. That survival mechanism kept them alive. But in today's world of abundance, it's destroying us from the inside. You live in a time where you have more than kings did 500 years ago. More food, more comfort, more options, and yet you're still not happy because your brain keeps moving the goalposts. And it gets worse because it's not just about what you have, it's about what they have. You get a raise, you're pumped, you feel like you're winning, until you find out your coworker got a bigger one. Suddenly, your win feels like a loss. You buy a nice car, you love it. Until your neighbor pulls up in a newer one, now yours feels small. This is social comparison, and it's killing your happiness. Humans don't measure success in absolute terms. We measure it relative to others. And in the age of Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, everyone around you looks like they're living their best life, even when they're not. You scroll, and you see the vacations, the promotions, the perfect relationships. Your brain doesn't register that it's a highlight reel. It just whispers, "Why isn't that you? What's wrong with you?" No matter how far you've come, someone always seems further ahead. And just like that, your happiness shrinks. Now let me blow your mind with some science. You know that amazing feeling you get when you're about to get something you want? When you're scrolling, looking at that thing you're about to buy? When you're dreaming about the vacation, the goal, the achievement? That feeling is dopamine, the motivation chemical, the anticipation drug. And here's the kicker. Dopamine spikes when you're chasing the reward, not when you get it. That means the thrill is in the hunt, not the kill. Once you actually achieve the thing, dopamine crashes. And you're left feeling empty, let down. Like, wait, that's it? Your brain tricked you. It made you believe the happiness was in the achievement, but the happiness was only in the chase. And now that the chase is over, you're left underwhelmed, already scanning for the next target. This is why people with everything, money, fame, success, still feel miserable. Because happiness was never in the destination. It was in the illusion of the journey. This is the happiness paradox. The belief that happiness is something you can capture, own, and hold on to forever. But the truth? The harder you grip it, the faster it slips away. And if you keep chasing it the way you've been taught, it will destroy you. So, what's the cost of this chase? You might think, what's the harm in wanting to feel good? Let me show you. First, there's your wallet. Marketers know the happiness paradox better than you do. They know you'll adapt. They know the high will fade, so they keep feeding you the next thing, the next upgrade, the next trend, and you buy it. Over and over. You're spending money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't even like. The credit card debt piles up. The savings account stays empty. And instead of building wealth and freedom, you're trapped in a cycle of consumption. True financial freedom requires delayed gratification, but chasing happiness, that demands instant gratification. And instant gratification is the enemy of everything you want long term. Then there's your body. Comfort food, alcohol, endless scrolling, binge watching. These things feel good in the moment, right? They give you that little dopamine bump when life feels heavy. But what do they leave behind? Weight gain, brain fog, sleepless nights, anxiety, depression. The very things you run to for comfort are slowly poisoning you. And the saddest part? You know it. You feel it. But you keep going back because the short-term relief is too tempting. But the worst cost? The emotional one. When happiness becomes the goal, not being happy feels like failure. You start asking yourself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy? And that question becomes a prison. You judge yourself, you shame yourself, you feel broken. The irony is suffocating. The harder you try to be happy, the more miserable you become. It's like squeezing sand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips through your fingers. Here's another brutal truth. Chasing happiness makes you weak. When happiness is the goal, you avoid discomfort, you avoid challenges, you avoid anything that doesn't feel good right now. But growth? Growth is uncomfortable. Building wealth is hard. Learning a skill is frustrating. Chasing a dream requires sacrifice. So you quit. You choose the easy dopamine hit over the hard, meaningful work. And years later you look back and realize you have nothing to show for it. And that brings us to the ultimate cost, regret. Years spent chasing fleeting highs, money wasted on things that don't matter, time lost to distractions that didn't fulfill you. And at the end of it all, you look back and realize none of it lasted. The purchases lost their shine. The moments blurred together, the pleasure faded, and what's left is the haunting realization that you traded your life for feelings that were never real. That's the price of chasing happiness. It doesn't just cost you money or health, it costs you time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. But here's the good news. There's a way out. If chasing happiness makes you miserable, how do you escape? The answer is simple, but counterintuitive. Stop making happiness the goal. Instead, focus on the things that create happiness as a byproduct. Meaning, growth, connection, purpose. Let me break it down. 1. Choose purpose over pleasure. Pleasure fades. Purpose lasts. When you chase happiness directly, it disappears. But when you chase something meaningful, building a skill, serving others, working toward a mission, happiness shows up on its own. Psychologists call this eudaimonic well-being. It's the deep, lasting joy that comes from living aligned with your values. Ask yourself, what would I do even if it was hard? What would I pursue even if nobody was watching? That's where real fulfillment lives. 2. Fall in love with progress. Happiness isn't at the finish line, it's in the climb. Think about the last time you worked hard on something and saw progress. Maybe you stuck to your workout plan. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you saved money for a month straight. Remember how that felt? That's sustainable happiness. Not the high of instant gratification, but the deep satisfaction of growth. Stop asking, am I happy yet? Start asking, am I better than yesterday? 3. Practice gratitude, like your life depends on it. Here's a simple hack that rewires your brain. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every single day. Gratitude interrupts the hedonic treadmill. It shifts your brain from, what do I need next, to, look at what I already have. Studies prove this works. Gratitude literally changes your brain chemistry. It pulls you out of scarcity and drops you into abundance. Happiness isn't out there, it's already here. You just forgot to notice. 4. Design your environment. Willpower won't save you. Your environment will. If your phone is full of apps designed to hijack your dopamine, you'll lose. If your feed is full of people flexing fake lives, you'll feel inadequate. So, change it. Limit social media. Surround yourself with people who value growth over status. Replace cheap dopamine hits with meaningful ones: reading, creating, exercising, building. When your environment supports your values, fulfillment becomes automatic. 5. Serve something bigger than yourself. Here's the secret most people miss. Happiness grows when you stop making it about you. Think about your happiest memories. I bet most of them involve giving, not getting, helping someone, being there for a friend, contributing to something meaningful. Service transforms happiness from a chase into a gift. When you serve, you stop asking, "What can I get?" You start asking, "What can I give?" And that shift changes everything. So here's the truth you need to hear. Happiness was never meant to be hunted. The more you chase it, the further it runs. That's the happiness paradox. It tricks you into believing joy is just one more achievement, one more purchase, one more milestone away. But it's not. And the chase, it's costing you everything: your money, your health, your peace, your time. But the good news is this. Happiness isn't something you capture. It's something you build through purpose, through progress, through gratitude, through service. True happiness shows up when you stop asking, "How do I get more?" and start asking, "How can I grow? How can I serve? How can I live with meaning?" The happiest people aren't the ones chasing pleasure. They're the ones choosing meaning over distraction, growth over comfort, and contribution over selfishness. So here's my question for you. Are you still running after happiness? Or are you ready to build the kind of life where happiness finally finds you? If this hit you hard, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to break free from the traps holding you back, subscribe and join us here at the Sleepless Academy. Because happiness isn't out there. It's waiting in the choices you make today. Now stop chasing, start building, and watch what happens.